So we have a concept called a representation factor, where the distance of the object on drawing to the corresponding actual length is what we call as a representation factor. I repeat, representation factor is take down book and pen. We have so many problems on it. These are 10 marks, 15 marks question. Take down it. So representation factor is distance on drawing. Paper మీద ఉండే length ఉంటుంది కదండి, పేపర్ మీద length. If you take a scale and start measuring, that is called distance on drawing of an object to the corresponding actual distance. ఈ రెండు ratios, if you take it, then that is called as a representation factor, right? And large scale map, we have discussed about small scale map and everything. Okay, fine, we'll go ahead. So we also dealt with these problems. Engineering scale problem చేసామండి, first one, and second one also we have done it. So this today we'll discuss about errors due to shrinkage of map. What is shrinkage of map, right? When we are plotting the survey on a piece of paper, right, and paper by itself degrades due to time. When it is degrading, there may be a chances of your paper reduced, or the lines which you have drawn may have been wore out, so it can't be visibly seen. So these kind of problems will have. So unknowingly, right, there is 2 points A and B on a piece of drawing, as I shown in the right side top figure. There are 2 points A and B on a piece of drawing which was long back ago, and the distance is x centimeters, let me say, and the scale with which it is plotted is 1 centimeter equal to 10 meters. 1 centimeter equal to 10 meters. So if 1 centimeter equal to 10 meters is the scale, then what is the x centimeters on the ground? It is 10 multiplied by x centimeters. So 10 meters is how many centimeters? It is 1000 centimeters. It is very simple, right? I'll take a pen now. Okay. So 10 meters, if you convert to centimeters, it is nothing but 1000 centimeters. So 1000, if you multiply with x, you will get the actual distance of that line on ground. Fine, this is how you will do it. I repeat, I have 2 points A and B on drawing. The distance is, let me say, x centimeters, and the drawing is plotted with 1:1000. Okay, or I can say 1 centimeter equal to 10 meters. So all that you need to do is multiply this 1000 with x, you'll get the actual ground. So unfortunately, that map has got a problem, and after shrinkage, this can be, let me say, the distance, same distance A to B is y centimeters now. So e y centimeters anedi, it can be greater than x or less than x. Anything can happen, right? So let me say y. Now if it is y after shrinkage, then the ground distance is something like 1000 into y. Ante kadandi, right? So we have a new scale now, which we can call it as a shrunk scale, is given by, right, the shrunk length divided by the original length. The shrunk length divided by the original length. So shrunk length is y centimeters and the original length is 1000 centimeters. So the value will come as y by x into 1/1000. Okay, here is x and a. I forgot to write shrunk length by original length. So original ఏమో మనకి 1000x ఉంది, తర్వాతనేమో y centimeters అయింది అదే పాయింట్. So the value can be written something like this. So y by x into why this 1/1000 is, it is called as a representation factor. So shrunk scale is given by shrunk factor into rm. What is shrunk factor? Original గా ఉన్న లెంత్ ఏమో డినామినేటర్ లో, రైట్, యాక్చువల్ గా స్టార్టింగ్ shrunk అయిన లెంత్ ఏమో న్యూమరేటర్ లో. సో y by x into 1/1000 is the shrunk scale. So ఇది basically this representation factor changes with map. So we should write down this formula. Please write down this formula. Shrunk scale equal to shrunk factor into shrunk scale equal to shrunk factor into representation factor of that map, right? Representation factor is the scale with which it is plotted. Shrunk factor అంటే ఏంటండి? Shrunk అయిన length divided by original length. Okay, let us take one problem అండి. A plan of an area has shrunk such that the original line, originally 10 centimeters long, measures as 9.5 centimeters. I repeat, a plan of an area has shrunk such that the line originally 10 centimeters long was 9.5 centimeters. అంటే 10 centimeters అనే ఒక లైన్ వేశారు, shrunk అయింది, అది 9 centimeter లాగా అయింది. ఇట్ ఈస్ డిక్రీజ్డ్ నౌ. ఓకే, ఒరిజినల్ స్కేల్ ఏమో 1 centimeter ఈక్వల్ టు 10 meters చొప్పున గీశారు. అయితే ష్రింకేజ్ ఫ్యాక్టర్ ఎంత, shrunk స్కేల్ ఎంత, కరెక్ట్ లెంత్ ఎంత, ఒకవేళ 100 meters మెజర్ చేస్తే 100 meters మెజర్ చేస్తే బట్ ఇట్ ఇస్ రాంగ్ కదా. సో 100 meters మెజర్ చేస్తే దాని కరెక్ట్ లెంత్ ఎంత, 100 square meters మెజర్ చేస్తే దాని కరెక్ట్ వాల్యూ ఎంత. దీస్ క్వశ్చన్. సో we'll find out the solution for this. So first is we'll calculate shrinkage factor. So write down the given data. Given data is given is the original scale is given as 1 centimeter equal to 10 meters is given to you. Now we can immediately get what is the representation factor. Right, representation factor is given by 1 centimeter by 10 meters. So 10 meters can be written as 100 centimeters oka meter kabatti. So it will be, the representation factor is 1 by 1000. This is noted to you. Now shrinkage factor can be written as the shrunk length divided by the original length. Shrunk length divided by the original length, or shrinkage factor అనొచ్చు, లేకపోతే shrunk factor అని అనొచ్చు. So shrunk length to original. Shrunk length ఎంత 9.5 centimeters. So original length at 10 centimeters. So it is 0.95 MB. So 95% తగ్గిపోయింది. So shrunk scale ఏమవుతుంది? In the previous slide we have discussed, shrunk scale is given by shrunk factor multiplied by representation factor. Shrunk scale is ఈ రెండు మల్టిప్లై చేస్తే you will get shrinkage factor, right? Shrunk scale is given by 0.95, which is shrunk factor, and 1 by 1000, which is representation factor. You will get a value of 1 by 1052.63. Fine. Now the question is now 100 meters kolsanu, but actually it is wrong, right? It is some ways different. So the correct length అనేది మీరు కనుక్కోవాలంటే you'll use this equation, right? Shrunk factor can also be measured as measured distance by correct distance, right? This equation is new, please write it down. Shrunk factor ni మనం ఇలా కూడా ఎలా వాడచ్చు అంటే measured distance by correct distance. మీదే అన్ని ఇంతవరకు డ్రాయింగ్ లో ఉండి this is actual measured. So measured distance by correct distance equal to shrunk factor. The same 95% తగ్గుతుంది కాబట్టి. So measured distance ఎంత అండి? థర్డ్ క్వశ్చన్ ప్రకారం it is 100 divided by what is the correct distance అండి? That is what you need to find out. That is x. And 100 by x equals to 0.95. Then x is given by 100 by 0.95. It is 105.263. So it is not 100 meters now. It is actually 105.263 meters. In the same way area కనుక్కోవాలి. So area కూడా same equation వాడదామండి. The equation is same, but the changes are there. The same. ఇదే equation వాడతాము, right? But area kabatti you will use square here. You can see here. So shrunk factor square equals to measured area divided by correct area. I repeat, shrunk factor square equals to measured area by correct area, right? So how much is the shrunk factor? The shrunk factor is 0.95 is the shrunk factor. Because we are trying to find out the area, we'll have to put square equals to measured area is how much? 100. You do not put any square here, divided by correct area, let me say x. Okay. The correct answer is 110.8 అండి. Okay, fine, we'll go ahead. So we have two equations, right? One is if the map has shrunk and if you want to calculate the correct line, what is the equation you will use is, please write down it, right? I can repeat, you have a map, right? You know the wrong scale, you know the correct scale. In the previous case, the scale is same. The scale is same. Now the scale is also different. You have a round scale, you have a correct scale, and you have a measured distance, and you wanted to calculate the correct length. Measured distance to ground length, right? In the same way, you can even calculate the correct area. The same, kapate, you will get a square. Representative factor of wrong scale by correct scale into measured area. We'll have a problem. So I repeat, ఏం చేస్తామంటే representation factor of wrong scale divided by representation of correct scale. ఇది గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, right? Representation of wrong scale divided by representation of correct scale into measured distance. If it is area, we'll put a square. Bus. So you have a question there, something like the surveying measures a distance between 2 points drawn on a map, right? On a map drawn to a scale of 1 centimeter equal to 1 meter. The representative factor is given as 1 by 100, right? And it is found to be 50 meters. 1 centimeter, 1 meter kolcharu, 1 by 100 andaru, 50 meters. Later he discovered that he is using a wrong scale. 1 centimeter equal to 50 centimeters. So wrong scale తెలిసిపోయింది కదండి. సో మీద కరెక్ట్ స్కేల్ తెలుస్తుంది. సో రిప్రజెంటేషన్ ఫ్యాక్టర్ మీద రేషియోస్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయొచ్చు. ఫస్ట్ దాంట్లోనేమో మెజర్డ్ లెంత్ ఇచ్చేసాడు 50 మీటర్స్. సో 50 మీటర్స్ కాదు యాక్చువల్గా వాడు మెజర్ చేస్తుంది, ఎందుకంటే రాంగ్ స్కేల్ వాడాడు కాబట్టి. సో ది ఫస్ట్ ఈక్వేషన్ యూ కెన్ డైరెక్ట్లీ యూజ్ కరెక్ట్ లెంత్ ఈక్వల్స్ టు wrong length, representation of wrong scale divided by representation of correct scale into measured distance. So we let us calculate representation factor of correct scale. Correct scale is 1 by 100. Representation factor for wrong scale is 1 by 50, right? So correct length is given by representation factor of wrong scale divided by representation of correct scale, right, into 50. Why 50? In the question he said that it is 50 meters, right? So actual correct answer which is it is 100 meters. That measurement actually 100 meters. In the similar way, ఏరియా కూడా 60 స్క్వేర్ మీటర్స్ గా మెజర్ చేసాడు. ఏం చేయాలంటే ఏరియా అంటే కరెక్ట్ ఏరియాలో క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తారు, ఆ బ్రాకెట్స్ పెట్టి స్క్వేర్ పెట్టాలండి. సో 1/50 divided by 1/1000 whole square into 50 will get as 240 square meters, right? It's very simple, right? So if you have the previous slide equations, it is very important. So correct length or correct area, correct length is given by representation of factor of wrong scale by divided by representation factor of correct scale into measured length. Correct area calculation representation of factor of wrong scale divided by representation of correct scale whole square multiplied by the area measured. Right, to get it, you can. Okay. So these are the when you ultimate our objective of surveying is to plot a map. This is what we have said. So in order to plot a map, you cannot write everywhere, right? There are some symbols to it. These are the questions you will be expected in 2 marks, right? The first and foremost important is you always have to know the north symbol. The north symbol, normally what we do is we'll keep N and we'll show the north symbol with arrow. That's it. So there it says that narrow is towards the right hand and it is deviated from the vertical. Vertical వైపు నుంచి right hand ki deviate అయింది. That is what the north says. Chain అనేది we'll discuss what actually chain line is represented with a thick line, dashed line ni ఆ మధ్యలో gap ni we'll insert 3 dots onto it, right? Dash, we have a thick line, 3 dots, then thick line, then 3 dots. Please write down on paper, you will have an idea. మీరు అట్లా కూర్చొని ఉంటే you cannot get anything. So main station, how do we represent a main station? We'll discuss about all these things in next 10 minutes. So main station we represent in a triangle. So main stations ki 2 chain lines, so 3 chain lines kuda raavochu. So we'll we'll connect those chain lines and we'll represent that junction as a triangle. If the triangle unte meaning enti, that is a main station. Ade akkada circle undi anukondi, then that is called as a traverse station, right? Then river undi anukondi, we have extreme two lines which are the edges, right? And we show the flow of water with the next offset inko line vestam. So offset line ఏం చేస్తుంది, the flow is always in that line, right? అక్కడక్కడ islands, if you want you can draw them also, that's not an issue. Canals are same of rivers but always as are in straight line లో ఉంటాయి, లోపట dotted lines వేస్తాం. Dotted lines show the slope of your canal. The lake is also the boundary thick line la vestamu, inner side oka dotted line tho vestam. Lake eppudu round shape undi, it can be of any shape, right? So when you happen to move across a road, right, you always see the bridges or culverts, right? There are types of culverts and which I don't want to discuss, but say for example if you're traveling road, la road meekeli ila veltunnaru anukondi, so you always have some kind of a crossing to it. So crossing ante it can be a water especially. So we will construct a bridge there. So bridge unte ganta will represent in that way. And the metal road two lines, unmetal road dash line untundandi. Railway line untundandi, we will have a thick line, then this lines, then building line, then electrical line. Electrical line is very important, right? Majority of people forget to mention it, but it's very important. So let us go to next slide. So when you are conducting surveying, you need to have certain instruments, and we'll discuss instruments now. Now I'm not going to detail part of it, right? Few details, few of them we'll discuss. Main accessories em undali anedi we'll discuss now. So first and foremost thing is we need to carry ranging rods antam dani, లేదా offset rods antam. Ranging rods ante will keep those rods on the ground, dani ground lo దింపుతా ఉండదు. You have a narrow arrow shape లో ఉంటుంది ground లో దింపడానికి, right? సో ఇవి సిరీస్ ఆఫ్ లైన్ కలర్ లైన్స్ లో ఉంటాయి. వైట్ కలర్ ఇస్ కామన్, కొన్నిసార్లు బ్లాక్ కలర్ లో ఉంటుంది, కొన్నిసార్లు రెడ్ కలర్ ఉంటుంది. హైట్ రేంజెస్ ఫ్రమ్ 2 meters to 3 meters. హైట్ రేంజెస్ 2 meters ఉంటుంది, 3 meters కూడా ఉంటుంది. ఇన్ అవర్ ల్యాబొరేటరీ వీ హ్యావ్ బోత్ ఆఫ్ దెమ్, 2 meters ఉన్నాయి, 3 meters కూడా ఉన్నాయి. రేంజింగ్ రాడ్ కి ఆఫ్సెట్ రాడ్ కి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటంటే we have a flat to it, right, for a ranging rod, whereas in offset rod we have a small slit where the follower can see the other offset rod or the ranging rod, right? So this is how the difference between the ranging rods and offset rod, why it is there, how what is the purpose of it, how will we use it, we'll see in next lesson. These are the small accessories which I would like to say. And chains, we have talking about chains are nothing but measuring center. We got a tape లాంటిదే, కాకపోతే పాతకాలంలో వాడేవారు. It's olden days they used to do it, where they didn't discover the Teflon tapes and plastic products. So it is made up of galvanized iron, తుప్పు పట్టదండి ఇది, galvanized iron. So అలా ఉంటుందండి. those are tied up and untie చేసిన తర్వాత they have two handles, and when you unfold the chain with two handles, it looks something like this. Chain links ఉంటాయి, right? We'll discuss about the links ఎలా ఉంటుంది. So 3 dots అనేది chain line representation, that is why it is represented. You have next tapes ఉన్నాయి, right? Tapes are the new development where we have created this plastic polymers వచ్చిన తర్వాత they have introduced these tapes, and it is graduated. We even calculate 1 mm కూడా calculate చేయడం. Next we have arrows, right? Arrows ఎందుకు వాడతారంటే when you have a ground point and if you want to mark the ground point, don't put stones and everything. After 1 week తర్వాత వస్తే కనుక you never know. So what do we do is we'll hit or we'll insert the arrows to the ground point and we'll mark it, right? So sometimes it is having this blue color, red color for visual purpose, for sometimes it does not have. In our laboratory we don't have this thing, okay? Rather we have only GA wire with this thing. It is of 300 mm only. The length of it is 300 mm and it is of 3 mm diameter. 300 mm and 3 mm diameter. It roll chase untundi so that you can hold it for insert into the drawing. These are the four major surveying accesses which we normally carry out to conduct any survey. And the last but not least, I would like to talk about, you have to note down all this. If you have a field notebook, right? That is a field notebook. Now field notebook has two types in that. Single line untundi, double line untundi. What we are saying is a double line. Single lines you will only have single line. So it is having length ekkuntundandi. The width is only about 100 mm to 75 mm. So what do we do is we'll hold book like this. Ala hold chestunna. We'll start drawing the chain bottom to top rastamandi. For example, if I have chain running, I'll show it to you on the book itself. Right? Chain ila vestam. Chain, how do we represent chain? Represent a thick line, right? Ila chain vestam. We'll draw, and we'll put here a triangle symbol. We'll put here triangle symbol, right? If it is a tree here, we'll mark tree here, right? If it is a road here, if we have a lake here, lake rastamu, right? If we have bushes here, you write down, right? This is how it is. So always in field book, bottom niche top color. That is what I would like to make a point. The chain is always run from here to here. So this end will always, this end will be always 0. This will be 20 maybe, and this may be again 20, and this may be again 40 meters. I'm talking. So this is next page. You'll enter the Mali 40 meters, 60 and 80. That is how the field notebook is done, right? So the phases of survey, when you are conducting survey, there are certain steps to do it, right? You cannot directly go and conduct the survey. So what are those steps to discuss now? First is reconnaissance survey on top. For example, if 4 of you students or 5 students have got an opportunity to conduct a survey, right? I want, some fellow said, I want to prepare the map of my land. So please come, and his area is at about 30 acres, 40 acres, let me say, right? It is not cultivated, it's uncultivated. There is part cultivated, it's not cultivated. You have to draw a map of it, right? So first, what do we do is we have to go entire land. We have to walk through the entire land, covering all the objects and everything, right? So this type of, we do not carry any papers along with you. We do not carry any instruments with you, just to look and get back something. So along the inland, that is called as a reconnaissance survey. The object of reconnaissance survey is, to have an idea how the land is. And in the reconnaissance survey, you also need to have main stations survey points ఎక్కడ పెట్టాలి, సబ్సిడరీ స్టేషన్ పాయింట్స్ ఎక్కడ పెట్టాలి. దీస్ ఆల్ ఇక్కడ నుంచి అక్కడ విజిబిలిటీ ఉందా, విచ్ పాయింట్స్ క్యాన్ బి బెటర్, రైట్? ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ఏవేవి ఉన్నాయి, if there is a valley or if there is a small hill there, what are the boundaries. You have to walk all this and have a look on it, right? If you want to have a paper, you can note it down, all those things. Then what do we do is then we take a small sketch of the entire land, right, which we call as a preliminary survey. In the preliminary survey also, we do not carry any instruments around. So what do we do is we just take a piece of paper and we'll approximately arrange the framework of it. For example, that is how it shows. You can see there in the figure, A is there, B is there, C and D is there. A, B, C, D are the main survey points, right? It's only corners kaakapochu. These are the survey station points. What he has done is he has run the chains from A to B, B to C, C to D, D to A. Chain and details kada indake handles untayi, we have shown to you. And you can calculate the distance between A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to A also, right? Then objects avi note chestamu, right? In which section the objects are. For example, pond is in between S1, C, T, T1, T2, T1. So how do we know this? Because we have run these tie lines or check lines, we call this, or subsidiary lines, we call them as S1, S2, T1 are the subsidiary station points, right? So all this you can do it. in preliminary survey. It is a part of a sketchwork. It is not again detailed this thing. In detailed survey, what do we do is we'll have the sketch and we'll exactly mark or we exactly calculate the distances angles of it. Never think that on ground you are going straight. Right, my line is straight. No, your line is never straight. It's always deviated with something. So the always reference is taken as the north of Earth. North is taken as 0, and with that, how much your line is. That is how we plot it. So AB line is how much with it reference to the north of Earth. BC is how much. CD is how much. DA is how much. So that is how we have to plot the entire survey lines and along with the lines also. See, AB line can be more than 30, more than 40 also. We never know it. The chain length is actually available only in 20 meters or 30 meters. So for example, AB is of 60 or AB of 200 meters. AB length is 200 meters, but I have only chain of 20 meters. So 10 times I have to do it. There is a process called ranging of that line. We'll discuss in the later part of it. If the distance between 2 points is greater than the tape or chain itself, how do we going to do it? So in detailed survey, what we do is we'll take the exact measurements of all this framework and we'll note it on the field notebook and we'll plot it. So final output, how do we do is we will mark all these points. Say in the sketching part, I did not mention exact the pond location, but in the map we'll mention those points. For example, I'll put a peg here or a staff port station peg there, right? I've shown you the arrow is taken more or less same. So from that the corners of the buildings are plotted, right? ఒకసారి ఆ కార్నర్స్ తెలిసిన తర్వాత వీల్ క్యాన్ ప్లాట్ దట్ బిల్డింగ్ ఏ లొకేషన్ లో అనేది బిల్డింగ్ కూడా మార్క్ చేయొచ్చు, ట్రీ మార్క్ చేయొచ్చు. వీ కెన్ డూ ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్. సో this is how the steps of a survey to be conducted. One is reconnaissance survey, preliminary survey, third is detailed survey, and fourth is the plotting of map, right? So this is how the field notebook can be visualized, right? I have a single field book there, and the right side is the double line book. Now chain run చేశారండి. You can see I'm talking about left hand side figure. 0 నుంచి 80 వరకు ఉంది. రైట్ సైడ్ ఏదో ఫిగర్స్ ఉన్నాయి. సో రోడ్ క్రాస్ అవుతుంది మొదట చైన్ మీద. దెన్ నంబర్స్ రిప్రజెంట్ ది మీటర్స్, 10 meters, 20.5 meters, 30 meters, 34 meters. సో యూ కెన్ సే దట్ 30 meters, 34 meters మధ్యలో రోడ్డు వెళ్తుంది, రైట్? 50, 60 మధ్యలో యూ హ్యావ్ బిల్డింగ్స్ ఆన్ either sides, right? And the values there represent the offset from the chain line. For example, 60, 50 right side I have a small rectangle, and the number 5 says that that edge is 5 meters away from the chain line. In the portion kuda 5 meters, whereas in the left side figure lo 9 meters to 8 meters ante offset, perpendicular offsets on the distance from them. Whereas if you consider the same this thing in a double roll book, itla 2 lines untai, you can write these things. Okay, so this is how you'll use these things. So in the figure lo what we have done is in sketch part lo meer gamaniste ganaka, if you notice here, right, there are A, B, B, C, C, D. So A, B ki raskuntamu, B, C ki raskuntamu. For every chain line we will write down all these details and we'll connect them all them and we'll prepare a map which something looks like this. So you have edge of the shade, then you will draw the margin, then you put the north symbol at the top right side corner, right? Then you put the heading, then what all the symbols, what are all you have found out from the during surveying, so you'll put it on the paper. That is how the map is prepared. Okay, so in the next class we will discuss about the measurement of distance and directions, how exactly we will do it. So we'll have the broader point of view మనం డిస్కస్ చేసుకున్నాము, ఎలా చేయాలి, ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ అనేది తెలుసుకున్నాము. సో inner wise how do we exactly calculate it అనేది we will discuss in the next slide. So